Harley's touring models have been bestsellers for years, and for good reason. These bikes offer a unique blend of comfort, luxury and freedom. But not all touring bikes are equal. Even within Harley's Grand American Touring lineup with the Milwaukee-Eight engine, there are huge differences. In this video I will tell you which models and production years are hidden gems and which ones you should avoid.
I will also tell you about the pros and cons of each model and which Milwaukee-Eight engine is the most reliable.
Stick around until the end of the video because I'll tell you which model I think offers the best value for the money. Let's start with the model differences in Harley's touring lineup. While they all share the same frame, there are some fundamental differences between them. Harley's modern touring lineup, now called the Grand American Touring, mainly consists of three core models: the Street Glide, the Road Glide and the Road King. There are also other variants like the Ultra Limited, but those are essentially modifications of the base models. The three base models come without a top case, so if you want a Street Glide with a top case, you'll need a Street Glide Ultra. Note that a Road Glide with a top case is not available in the 2025 lineup.
This means not each model is available in each model year.
Other key differences include auxiliary lights, chrome finishes and different wheel sizes. For example, a Street Glide with auxiliary lights, smaller wheels and a top case is known as the Ultra Limited. Back in the twin cam era, these were sometimes also called Ultra Classics or Electra Glides. Call them what you want, but in essence they're all based on the same touring frame with a batwing fairing, which can definitely be confusing for some newcomers. Currently, the Road Glide is one of the most popular touring models. It features the iconic shark nose fairing, and until 2023 it had the legendary dual headlights, which were replaced by a single LED tanning saloon headlamp in 2024. Whether that's an upgrade or not, that's a matter of personal taste. However, what is certain, if you want a classic Road Glide look, you'd better act fast. Pre-2023 models are in high demand and high prices for used bikes reflect that. Speaking of shark nose, it has one big difference compared to the Street Glide's batwing fairing. It is mounted to the frame and not to the triple tree like the batwing. That means the weight shifts from the fork to the frame. Now this setup has two major advantages. First, it's easier to steer at low speeds due to reduced fork weight. And secondly, it gives you more space in the cockpit since the fairing sits further forward
compared to the batwing.
Now that creates a more spacious cockpit feel. There are fans of both setups. Some prefer the stretched and aggressive look of the Road Glide, while others love the more compact, classic Street Glide shape. But it's not just about looks. The fairing design also changes how the wind hits you when riding. Which one is better really comes down to a proper test ride. Everyone's body shape, helmet type or lack of helmet affects how the wind is perceived. Personally, I found the Street Glide's windscreen very comfortable. The handling and the wind protection are excellent. Some of my friends, however, say the same about the Road Glide. So it really comes down to a personal preference. The Street Glide used to be the undisputed bestseller until Harley revamped the Road Glide's look in 2014 during the Rushmore project. Since then, the Road Glide's popularity has skyrocketed, and rightfully so. It looks modern, aggressive and pretty cool if you ask me.
It remains to be seen whether the 2024 and up Road Glide will be as popular as its predecessor.
Last but not least, let's talk about the Road King. When it was introduced in 1996, it was an instant hit and sold out for months. The Road King comes without a fairing, making it the model that most closely resembles a classic 80s Harley FL. The current Road King Special comes equipped with alloy wheels, has a blacked out finish, but with no windscreen and no sound system. So it's a pretty basic setup. It is also the only one which comes with a 114 cubic inch engine still. So if infotainment and audio is important to you, you'll either have to retrofit the Road King or choose one of the other models. Unfortunately, the Road King Classic is no longer in production. It was the only touring bike with spoked wheels, a windscreen, leather saddlebags and chromed out engine parts. The regular Road King, I mean not the special or classic version, was a blend of both. Chrome, windscreen, hard saddlebags and alloy wheels. The Road King has one subtle but great advantage over the fairing models. It's the lightest Harley with a touring chassis, which makes it the most nimble touring bike among them. The King weighs about 30 pounds less than a Road Glide, but you sacrifice the fairing and the sound system. Is it worth it? Answer for yourself.
Now let's talk about the engines.
What are the strengths and weaknesses of each Milwaukee-Eight engine? Is the current 117 cubic inch engine really the best one? Is the smaller Milwaukee-Eight with 107 cubic inches really no match, even if it costs about 10k less? It's a fact that the Milwaukee-Eight 117 cubic inch engine outperforms all of its predecessors. But this comparison can be misleading. New touring bikes cost a significant premium compared to a used bike. So the question is the extra performance worth the price? Let's compare model years side by side. The first generation of Milwaukee-Eight engines from 2017 to 2019 had some first model gremlins. Some touring models exhibited two notable quirks. On a few bikes, both 107 and 114 cubic inches, oil sumping was observed. That means a larger quantity of oil accumulates where it shouldn't be, namely the crankcase. Sumping causes higher operating temperatures, reduced performance and increased wear. Harley fixed this issue with a stronger oil pump starting in the 2020 model year. The second issue was specific to touring models and did not affect the softail line. Some touring models exhibited an oil transfer between the transmission and the primary drive. In some cases, oil from the transmission was being sucked into the primary, leading to low transmission oil levels and increased gear wear. The culprit was the hydraulic clutch used in early touring models. Note that this issue affects only the first generation of Milwaukee-Eight engines until 2019. Since 2020, Harley replaced the hydraulic clutch with a cable clutch, permanently solving this issue. Some might jokingly call this reverse innovation since Harley shifted to an older system, but if it works, that's what ultimately matters. Models affected by the oil transfer issue either received an oil deflector or a vent hole in the primary under warranty. The slinger didn't always fix the problem, but the vent hole turned out to be a more effective solution. Long story short, if you are considering first generation touring model up to 2019, make sure it either doesn't exhibit those issues or that they were resolved by the dealership. If you're interested in this, I made a more detailed video about both Milwaukee-Eight issues, so check them out in the link above. The key takeaway here is, both problems do not exist from the 2020 model years onward. And even if you have an earlier model, it's likely the issue has been resolved by Harley under warranty. Hence, the second generation of Milwaukee-Eight engines are more refined than the first generation.
It can also be a very interesting choice for some of you. These model years still have the old look before the redesign and highly reliable. So if you're a big fan of the dual headlights on the Road Glide, definitely scout Craigslist or eBay for those years. As of 2024, the Street Glide and the Road Glide didn't just receive comfort upgrades such as a new infotainment system and larger saddlebags, but also a new reworked 117 engine. But is upgrading from the 114 to the 117 really worth it? Let's dig into the engine comparison. The 107 cubic inch engine, which debuted in 2017, generates the lowest torque among the three compared engines and delivers around 90 horsepower. The 114 cubic inch engine offers about 10% more torque, but horsepower remains the same. The modern 117 cubic inch engine adds another 6% torque to the 114 and a whopping 17% increase in horsepower. That's a serious increase in performance, but the torque gains between 114 and the 117 are minor. However, if upper range performance matters to you, the 117 is a clear upgrade over the 114. So is there any reason to look at the 107 engine? Yes, although the two aforementioned quirks are somewhat annoying, they also make the engine way more affordable than the other two, especially if you consider that you can jack it up pretty easily to 124 cubic inches with a kit for less than 2k. Now just think about this for a second. If you consider customizing a 107, you might end up with the most powerful engine at the lowest costs and get a super unique bike, something like a wolf in sheep's clothing, and is definitely worth considering. Another argument for the 107 is if you're looking for a specific model, something like a Road King. These bikes are only available at 107 cubic inches unless you go for the special version. So let's summarize this. The 107 cubic inch engine is the most affordable and exclusive engine for the Road King Classic. It offers great tuning potential, but models from 2017 and 2019 had their early model hiccups. The 114 cubic inch engine offers tons of torque, plenty of used options, make it an excellent value per dollar while being very reliable. You also get the old styling on the Glide bikes. The early 114 models had the same early model issues as the 107. The 117 cubic inch engine offers massive power, reliability is on par with the 114, and you even get a warranty. However, these bikes are also the most expensive, especially since there are fewer used options on the market available. Before I continue with my personal recommendation, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching my videos. Recently this channel hit the 1000 subscriber milestone and I couldn't have done it without you, my audience. So big thanks to you for your support. I love creating these videos. I also love reading all of your comments. I learn a lot from you and some of you really lift me up and make me laugh. I truly appreciate you for subscribing and help me grow our little community. And now let's jump to the conclusion. As you can see, every engine generation and model has its fans, but which combo would
I recommend the most.
The Road King offers classic looks and is the lightest of the bunch.
The Road Glide feels like the largest and most imposing bike. The Street Glide, on the other hand, has a timeless design that's been popular for decades and probably always will be. If I had a limited budget, I'd look out for the 114 cubic inch bikes from 2020 onward, regardless of the model. They're highly reliable, plentiful and offer lots of power. If money is no object to you, I'd probably go for a 117 or even a 121 cubic inch Street Glide Ultra. I think the modern redesign of the Street Glide is a real success. It's instantly recognizable as a Street Glide and the LED stripes on the Batwing fairing don't bother me. Plus the infotainment system is really well done, and that's from someone who usually doesn't use infotainment while riding. And I also love the blue and chromed out combo on the Street Glide. It's just awesome. I think it's the perfect color combination. What do you think? Which model do you ride or would you choose? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're curious how the Milwaukee-Eight engine performed over a 30,000 mile test run, check out my next video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.